To the National Archives Know Your Records program. My name is Andrea Bassing-Matney. We're so pleased that you have joined us here today. We are broadcasting live from the Washington, D.C. National Archives building with an on-site audience. Before we begin, I have a few tips I'd like to share with you. For those of you who have joined us here on site, welcome. Hopefully you picked up the handouts that I left outside for you. And we are taking questions, but we ask that you wait until the very end and use these aisle microphones, please, so that everyone can hear you. For our for our online audience, those of you watching on YouTube, all of the handouts are available as a web link. If you go to the description portion of this video, you will see them there. There is also a handout, and you will also find a link to captioning so you can watch us broadcast live and see the text. So today we are so pleased to have Jason Klingerman introduce the new National Archives catalog, which provides improvements and updates to the initial online public access prototype for an online catalog. Mr. Klingerman started with the National Archives in 2007 as a student employee. He currently serves as an archives specialist in the Office of Innovation, Digital Public Access Branch. Before coming here, he went to undergraduate school at the University of Maryland, College Park, and graduate school at Towson University. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our presenter, Jason Klingerman.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jason Klingerman. You heard everything about me there is to know. I'm here today to introduce to you the new National Archives catalog. So before I delve into the new catalog, I kind of want to explain the history of our catalogs and how we came to the National Archives catalog. So before the National Archives catalog, there was the Archival Research catalog, and that was, I want to say, from 2001 till about 2010. And then that was replaced by the Online Public Access, or OPA system, in December of 2010. Now, OPA was designed to be a prototype. We had full intentions of using the prototype and learning from it and making future improvements in both the function and design of the catalog. We didn't get everything right the first time, so we wanted to try to make it better the second time, and we're still working to improve, so we're always open to suggestion. So after OPA, that's where the National Archives catalog comes in. And we went live with the catalog on December 5th, 2014. So for about 6 months, the new National Archives catalog and the OPA system lived simultaneously because we didn't want to pull OPA from researcher use until we were sure that the catalog worked flawlessly, because we know a lot of people depend on the catalog for research. And we've had some hiccups with the new catalog since OPA's gone down, but we're really trying to not have any downtime. We hired a company called Search Technologies to develop the National Archives catalog. They're one of the leading industry developers for search engines and coming up with search algorithms that are customized to different institutions. And we think they've done a great job. They're really given us a lot of input on how we can improve what we had before. So we've really enjoyed working with them. So what's new about the new National Archives catalog? Well, the most important thing I would say is that we've improved search, especially improved the relevancy ranking of search results and response times. We've also designed the catalog to be scalable for the increasing number of digital images and descriptions. So currently there are about 3.2 million digital images in the catalog. 1.1 million of these have been added just this year so far, and we're actually slated to add another 1.2 million in the next 2 months. So as time goes on, you can see that the number of digital images in the catalog are basically going to grow almost exponentially. And so we needed to design a new system that could actually handle that quantity of data and digital images. And the old catalog OPA was not designed to handle that. So it was a short-lived system and it couldn't sustain, but now we have a system that is scalable for a theoretically infinite number of digital images. Another nice thing about the new National Archives catalog is that we get weekly updates. So new descriptions and digitized records will appear weekly. And actually, in a future version, this should be shortened to every day we'll have updates. So as we work to improve the new catalog, you'll get updates sooner and sooner. So before, in OPA, you had to wait, I believe it was about a month for new work done by our archivist to appear in the catalog. But now happens in a week or less. We've also made some changes to the design and interface of the catalog. Now, if you were a frequent user of OPA, you might notice that it's not that different at the moment. It still has the same kind of blue banner at the top. But there are some other things that we've changed about the design and interface, but we also, in a future version, are going to improve upon the design and interface even more, and I'll get more into that. Another feature that we've added, because in OPA, we allowed users to tag descriptions. So anybody could jump on and add a tag about what the description might be about. If it was the document for the Truman Doctrine, somebody could go in and tag it Truman. But now we've also added transcriptions. So now users can actually go on and transcribe digitized records in our catalog. And this is immensely helpful for researchers because those transcriptions then get indexed and become searchable. So terms that appear in the transcription will actually become searchable. So maybe the description itself didn't have the term in the document, but now a search will pull it up if a transcription's been done for it. It also indexes the tags. Oh, I forgot to mention, I'm sorry. The tags can also now be done at the digital image level. So before, tags were just at the description level, but now tags can actually live on each page of a record. So you can tag one page different than the next page. And so for whatever purpose you might be tagging, this could be really helpful for your research or for helping other researchers pinpoint exactly what they're looking for is. We've also added what's called an API, which stands for Application Programming Interface. This is basically a way for other computer systems to interact directly with our catalog, and you can pull data from our catalog, or you can actually add data to our catalog too. So through the API, you can actually add transcriptions and tags as well. API is probably for more advanced users, but it will help us a lot in the future in terms of interacting with other institutions. For example, the DIPLA, which I believe stands for Digital Public Libraries and Archives, they are going to use the API to pull pretty much all of our descriptions and index them themselves for their searchable database. So that's one example of how our API is going to be used by other institutions. Another thing we've added about the catalog is the bulk export feature. So if your search results that you want to download are larger than the system will let you do in 30 seconds or less, it'll create a bulk export. So you can basically export as much as you want from our catalog. It might just queue it up for you to download later, and you have to have a username to do that. But I'll jump into the usernames and why to create a login in a moment. So I also want to mention what's coming in the catalog, because as I mentioned, we're still in development. We'll be developing for at least the next year, so we're still open to researcher suggestion as well. So that's why I'm always soliciting comments from researchers and staff to suggest how they think the catalog can be better. So what's coming, like I mentioned, is further changes to the design and interface. So we're actually getting rid of the whole blue color schema that we have, and we're going to have a grayscale website that's going to look kind of like Bing almost. It's going to have a landing page that uses actual records from our catalog and transposes the search bar over top of those, and we'll cycle through them. So it'll present you some cool records just when you first jump on. It'll be kind of more aesthetically pleasing. And we're having some design experts from Search Technologies are helping us with that. So it's going to be a lot better than we got initially with OPA. We're also adding additional user-contributed fields. So on top of tags and transcriptions, we're also adding translations, in which you can translate a document from English into any number of languages that we support, or from another language into English or into another language. So you can basically save multiple instances of transcriptions for different languages. And we're also adding comments. So we will allow researchers and users to actually comment on records in there. So somebody can go on and say, hey, this is really cool, or somebody can go on there and post a question, and perhaps a staff member or another researcher could answer their question. So it's we're trying to design it to be a much more social catalog. We also have a lot more coming, so We'll be making announcements with future releases as to what the new features are. So keep your ears to the wind for future changes. So on that note, let's actually jump into the catalog and check it out. So there's two ways you can get to the catalog. You can either go from archives.gov, and that's where our landing page is on the bottom link, or you can go to catalog.archives.gov directly, which brings you to the basic blue banner at the top with kind of a big white screen. It's not the prettiest thing right now, but we are changing that in a future version. So in the future, when you go to catalog.archives.gov, you'll actually be brought to the pretty landing page that we're designing. So, all right, so I'm going to jump over to the catalog. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys really quickly how to get to the catalog from the archives.gov homepage, for those of you who might not already be familiar. So you go to archives.gov, and this is the homepage. So if you click on Research Our Records right here on the left, you'll be brought to this page. And here's where you see the link National Archives Catalog up at the top under Search Online. Click on that, and that brings you to our catalog landing page. So you can actually start your search right from here, or if you don't want to use just the search bar, you can jump right into advanced search, like so. Or, like I mentioned before, you can just go directly to catalog.archives.gov so you can save the clicks, but that'll bring you right here. So you won't get all the information and help links that the landing page provides, but you can still access those by going to Home up here at the top. So in the future version, we're going to have the help pages more integrated with the catalog. So first, I kind of want to explain. So you'll notice over here on the right, you can log in. So let me explain the advantage of having a username versus not having a username. So basically, unregistered users can only retrieve 10,000 search results and no user contribution. So you cannot, if you don't have a login, you basically cannot provide transcriptions or tags. But you can still access those. So it doesn't prevent you from accessing them, you just can't contribute. But it does limit your search results. So if you want more than 10,000 search results, go ahead and create a username. Registered users can get up to 25,000 search results, and they can make user contributions and do bulk exports, and they can also create saved lists. So you can save descriptions and digitize records on a list for you to access later if you're trying to kind of browse through the catalog and collect things to look at later. You can save a list. Then we also have a power user status, which we actually save for pretty much other institutions and specific staff members, but those users are allowed up to 50,000 search results. We're experimenting with increasing these limits, so as we improve the catalog and improve its performance, we're actually going to up these limits even more, hopefully, so that we're trying to make as many records as available while still retaining fast performance on the catalog. We don't want there to be noticeable load times or wait times. That's our goal. So I'm going to go ahead and just show you what you get when you do a basic search. So I'm just going to search for the term Truman. And here you have what you get when you do a search on the catalog. The first thing you'll notice is probably the thumbnails. These thumbnails represent digitized records. This little grouping in the third position are actually web pages, archives.gov web pages. We've tried to kind of group those on here so that way your search results aren't cluttered with web pages, because we pretty much assume that most people coming to the catalog aren't trying to search archives.gov. Most people have probably gotten to the catalog from archives.gov, so we didn't want your search to bring up undue amount of web pages, so we grouped them all in the one position. And then we also have descriptions of records that are not available online, and you'll see those icons there. So we have up at the top, so the way OPA worked before was that we had these groupings. For example, we had online holdings, description only, authority records. I believe there was also archives.gov pages. But now we've created these tabs up here at the top. So the first tab it brings you to by default on a search is the All tab. The All basically brings back every type of search result possible, but it does provide a relevancy ranking that boosts digitized records to the top, but it doesn't bury descriptions of records. So we wanted to help people who wanted to do their research primarily online find what they were looking for, but also not exclude people who do a lot of their in-person research at the archives. So all brings back everything. Available online brings back digitized records. So at the moment, there's actually a known glitch where web pages are showing up in available online. So that's what these little globes are here. But in a future release, those web pages will be removed and available online will look just like this, and it'll just be digitally available records, all record types. It'll be textual records, videos, audio, photographs, any type of record that could be digitally available. Web pages is just web pages. Oops. So web pages brings back just archives.gov web pages. Documents is just digitized textual records. So if you're looking for textual records that are available online, you might want to jump right over to the Documents tab. Images are digitized photographs and other graphic materials. So at the moment, there's also a glitch in this tab where it's pulling back textual records as well, and that's because the images for those records are saved as JPEGs, for example, and the system is recognizing those as photographs because it's a JPEG. So in a future version that's coming out, we're actually going to remove those from the search results so it'll look just like this, where you'll just have photographs and other graphic materials. And then the Videos tab are just videos that are available online. So if it has this little film reel icon, that means that there's actually a video that you can watch on that description. So we have video formats in all different types, and depending on what browser you're using, you may or may not need a plugin to view the video. But once you have the appropriate plugin, you can actually view the video right here in the window. Also in a future version, because there's been some confusion about what all these tabs mean and what goes into these tabs, we're actually going to have hoverovers where once you hover over, see how it says all and the number of results? It'll actually say what that tab is. So for example, documents, when you hover over, will say something along the lines of digitally available textual records. So it'll define it for you when you hover over. On the left-hand side, the other thing you'll notice is the refinements. So this is how we can refine what we're looking for. So in the example where I'm looking at textual records, say I want to narrow it down. I say, well, because I searched Truman, I just want the textual records that are available at the Truman Library, because I don't want anything else. I just want Truman Library. You can actually come down here and refine by location and click on that. And now I only have the textual available, the digitally available records from Truman Library. So you can click on any number of one of these refinements. You can refine by date, you can refine by location, by file format, by type of materials, by level of description, or by data source. And I'll get into the data sources in a little bit here. So I'm going to go back. Okay, I'm going to go and actually jump into one of these search results here and show you what is on a digitized record. So here you have the diary appointment book of Harry S. Truman. And it doesn't want to load the cover page. Let's try another one. Well, it doesn't look like the catalog wants to load the images. It might just be taking its time. But let me explain kind of what you see here. So normally, the actual record would appear in this box right here. And you could zoom in or out down here on the bottom. You could pan left, pan right, up or down. And if you click this, it would actually bring you back to the standard zoom. You can also download the image right here, download full-size image. Or if you click on this button, this is where you can view and add the contributions, which at the moment are just tags and transcriptions. So let me go back to one that has multiple pages so I can show you. So in this example, you'll see a bunch of these pages have blue tags, but some of them don't. So the ones that have blue tags means that there is a user contribution on that page. If it doesn't have a blue tag, that means nobody has contributed to that page yet. Just because there's a tag doesn't mean the contribution is complete. So somebody may have done half of a transcription and stopped, but it would still show a blue tag. And in a future version, we're going to have transcription statuses, so they'll be like complete, incomplete. So you'll be able to tell that way. But at the moment, you can just tell whether or not there is a contribution. And you can also tag here at the description level. So if you want to tag up here, you can. To go between pages, you can either click on the page you want to go to. I wish this was loading the pages, but it's not. It's not very helpful. Or you could also jump with these buttons left or right to the first and last pages, or you can enter which page number if you know exactly where you want to go. Also, if you want to browse more, so by default, the system will only load the first 30 pages, but if you load more, it'll load the next 30 pages, and you can browse all 60, or the first 60. If you hit load all, it'll load every single page. Now please be aware, some of these documents can actually be thousands of pages, so if you hit load all, you might wait a little while depending on how big it is. Luckily with this one, it's only 81 pages, so it didn't take that long to load. And a lot of our records also have a PDF version, which is basically, instead of going page to page, you can see the whole document in one PDF, and you can now view those within the catalog. So it looks like the PDF is loading, so we'll go with that for now. Oh, I take that back. Okay, so I'm gonna jump into the user contribution window here really quick and just show you the user contributions. I was gonna do a transcription for you guys, but I think we're out of luck. Actually, I'm gonna try this in another browser really quick before I give up. So give me one moment. I was just on the catalog this morning, so this must be a relatively new issue. There you go. Okay, much better. All right, so now I can show you that you can actually look at the pages on here. So I'm going to click on a page, and you can zoom in with this bar, or you can use the scroll bar on your mouse, so you can zoom in pretty well, especially if it's a high-resolution image, and you can zoom in and it'll still look pretty good. Not all of our images are high-resolution, but a lot of them are, and all of the new ones that we're adding are going to be high-resolution. So we're not adding any new images that are low-resolution. So now with this page, I'm going to go ahead and jump into the contributions. I hit View/Add Contributions, and it brings this pop-up window where you can actually see the document up here at the top again with the same zooming and panning options. And then down here, you'll see that you can tag or you can transcribe. So this page doesn't have any tags or transcriptions. If you're not logged in, it'll prompt you to log in to contribute. So I'm going to go ahead and hit Log in to contribute. So I have a moderator account, which has a lot more data behind it, so it takes a little longer to load than a normal user account would take. So don't expect it to take this long for you to log in, but if it does, please don't hesitate to contact us because that shouldn't be the case. So please, if you ever have this much trouble logging in, please let us know. All right, so also in a future version, you'll notice it didn't bring me back to my result that I was looking at. It didn't bring me back to the record, and that's a current defect that we're actually waiting on getting fixed. So in the next version, when you log in, like on the contributions window like that, it'll bring you right back to where you were. But I had to manually go back to it, so I apologize for the inconvenience in the meantime. Okay, back to page 14. All right, now that I am logged in, I can tag. You'll see now it says enter new tags, or I can transcribe. So I'm going to start off by tagging it a little bit. So I'm going to tag this page Truman, and if you want to do more than one tag, you can just type them in a stream and just separate them with commas. So I'm going to tag this Truman and diary. And if I hit enter, I've now added those tags, and those tags will become searchable within 24 hours after entering. So now to do a transcription, you'll notice when you hit transcribe, you can't click into this box. It's blue, but once you hit the edit button, it now becomes a text box that you can enter into. So the way we've designed the system is that only one user can transcribe at a time. So if somebody else is already logged in the middle of transcribing this document, you won't be able to put it into edit mode until they're done. Now, if somebody goes idle on their computer and they walk away, it'll kick them out after a half an hour. So basically, it should let you back in. I would check back in a half an hour, basically, if you can't get into a transcription. If you're lucky, the person will have transcribed the whole thing, and you can go to the next page. So to transcribe this one, I'm going to zoom in here because I can't read it that small. So I'm going to log in or zoom in here. I'm going to start with the first page. I'm not going to do the whole thing, don't worry. And I'm just going to type in Friday, May 4th, 1934, 124th day, 241 days to come. So now below this is handwriting, and that's where transcriptions become really helpful. Because a lot of our documents that aren't handwritten can be, we have a search function called OCR, or optical character recognition, where the system can actually recognize most words on a typed document and actually make them searchable. But if it's a handwritten document, that system fails completely. And this is where transcriptions really come in handy. So the first line, and somebody feel free to shout out if you think I'm transcribing the wrong word, because I'm not that good at reading handwriting. But I think it says to Jefferson City, but it abbreviates it Jeff City. May 4th, 3:30. And then I think that says miles, MI, 4794. So now that I have added that text, it becomes searchable. So if somebody was searching for Truman and Jefferson City, for example, nowhere in the description did it mention Jefferson City. But now that I've added an anchor for Jefferson City, well, it really just says Jeff City, but it would make it more searchable. So on that same note, I can actually add a tag for Jefferson City. And it actually will help with the relevance of a search that somebody might have conducted with both of those terms. So now that you're done your transcription, which I actually have one more, I'll just go ahead and finish this because it's a pretty short one. Except I can't read.
I think it says leave Jefferson City and arrive Indianapolis.
There you go. LV.
Yeah.
Good. See, this is where I'm not that good at.
Then she needs to be a transcriber. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. So I was about to type something else, and I typed to Jefferson City, and we just had a correction from an audience member who noticed that it looks like it actually says leaving Jefferson City, LV. And this is where the user crowd is really useful, because just because somebody did a transcription doesn't necessarily mean that it's right. And so sometimes it takes another user with another set of eyes to realize that somebody may have transcribed it incorrectly, and it's up to them to go ahead and fix it too. You can log in and fix somebody else's transcription, because any transcription can be edited. Now, one question I've gotten a lot is, what if somebody goes in and deletes my transcription? I spent an hour transcribing this long document. What if somebody goes in and deletes it? No worries, as long as you catch it and you email us, that we can actually restore a previous version. So we don't actively moderate these contributions unless it's spam or vulgar language or offensive language. We don't actively moderate them, so we won't notice if somebody deleted it. But if you go back to your old transcription and you say, I know yesterday that I typed 4 paragraphs and now they're gone, if you just email us, we can actually restore to a previous version. So fret not, it won't be gone forever, but just pay attention if it's that important to you. So I'm going to finish this real quick. Oops. All right, so now I've done a whole page. So when I'm done, I'm going to hit save, and it'll let you know that your work has been saved. So make sure that you save your work before you close the window, because if you just close the window, it won't save it for you. So just remember, especially if it's a long document, save it halfway through, third of the way through. Just make sure that you're always thinking about saving. And then once you've saved it, you can still type, but if you're done with your transcription completely and you hit cancel, it'll bump you out of that transcription for somebody else to jump on if they want to, or look at. So once you've done a transcription, it'll actually show who contributed that transcription. So up here it says contributors Jay Klingerman, and then it says NARA staff. So we've put in there for every NARA staff member who has a user account, any contribution they make will be identified as being done by NARA staff, just to help people know, kind of to be more transparent about contributions, but also to know maybe like something might be more authoritative. If it came from NARA staff, sometimes we get transcriptions from agencies, and we might actually just copy and paste those descriptions or those transcriptions in there. And it'll give you the timestamp too. So I'm gonna jump out of user contributions right now. The next thing I want to show you is the export feature. So I'm going to go back to my search results. So up here at the top, you'll see it says that I have 71,827 search results. And I think to myself, ooh, I want all of that. I don't want to look through this all right now. I just want to save that for later. If you hit this export button, you can basically export either the results on the page or the top results. So mine say top 50,000 because I'm a power user, but if you're just a regular user, it'll say top 25,000. So you can only export up to 25,000 results. So in this example where there's 71,000, I'm not going to be able to get all of those. But I suggest if you're not finding what you're looking for in less than 50,000 results, then you should probably find a way to narrow your search. And we can always help you with that. If you're really having trouble finding what you're looking for, never hesitate to email us. So I'm going to hit the top 50,000. And then you go over here to the right and click this export button. And you're presented with a pop-up with some options. So you can do either the brief results or the full results, and you can include the thumbnails of the images, and you can also include user contributions in your export. So if you want the transcriptions and or the tags, you can include those as well, and you can choose your format. So you can export in CSV, which is for Excel, JSON, which is a programming language, PDF, everyone knows what PDF is, or a text, which is like basically a notepad document on the computer. And XML is another coding language that we actually store all of our data in XML. So XML is basically the rawest format of our data as it comes directly from us. And some people might want to use that if they're familiar with those coding, but if you're not, you probably want either CSV, PDF, or text. So I'm going to go ahead and do a PDF. And I'm just going to do the I'm going to do the full results. I'm going to include all the thumbnails and all the transcriptions and tags. And I'm going to hit export. And what it does at this point, whereas if your export takes more than 30 seconds, it'll create a bulk export for you that you can download later if you have a user account. If it takes less than 30 seconds, it'll just download it directly to your computer at this point. So it looks like this one's probably going to take more than 30 seconds. And if it takes significantly longer, then I'm going to jump out and just show you where the bulk exports live. Okay, well, we're not going to wait for this, but I will show you where you can find your bulk exports once it's executed. I'm sorry that the system seems to be going a little slow at the moment. I'm actually going to find out what's going on with that later. Oh, of course, I was too impatient. There you go, okay. So if you go to your user account page, so right here where I see my username, if you click on that, you can see your bulk downloads over here. So if you click on this link, it'll show you all of your bulk downloads. So I have none at the moment, but it'll show you the status of your bulk downloads. So it'll say either complete or in progress, and it'll say the % complete. So if it's a really big one, it might take a while, and you can jump on 10 minutes later, and it might only be 50% done. But once it's done, you can come back to it, and actually there'll be a link over here to download it. And it also tells you the size, the number of items in it, and it'll tell you when it expires. So please by no means treat the bulk export list as a permanent storage place for your search results that you want to keep. It only allows you to keep your bulk downloads on here for about 2 months. So try to download it within 2 months of creating it, but it'll tell you when it expires. It won't remind you, but it'll tell you. So just be aware of that. So that's it for exports, and I'm actually going to show you guys now advanced search, because it seems a lot of researchers are really interested in advanced search. So if you remember OPA, then OPA had all of the fields that were searchable on this screen. One major change is that now you can't see all the fields, and that's actually a major complaint that we've gotten. So in the next version, we've improved this a lot, but I'm going to explain to you right now how to get to those fields. So by default, all of these data sources are selected. So to get to the fields that you may be used to searching, you have to deselect all of them. I know this is not the simplest way of getting to it, but if you hit either archival descriptions and or archival descriptions to digital objects, you'll now see all the fields displayed that relate to those. So what the system's doing here is it's basically only displaying the common fields between all of those data sources. That's why when you have all selected, those disappear, because not all of those data sources share the same fields. So for example, if I were just to go to presidential/vice presidential electronic records, just the fields that are pertinent to that data source are available. So you'll see down here, FOIA case number, type of records, White House emails. So most researchers tend to be interested in the archival descriptions and archival descriptions with digital objects, but note that you can limit it to any number of these. In the future version, instead of having to click the data sources to get these fields, it'll display all fields, but if the fields aren't pertinent to the data source you have selected, it'll just be grayed out and unavailable for you to use, but you can still see it there. So basically you would just have to kind of click until it appeared. So I'm gonna do an advanced search here. I'm gonna follow the same format. I'm gonna do Truman, but I'm gonna say that I only want Truman items, and I only want things that are from the National Archives in College Park textual reference. You can also add search terms for the title. For geographic references, you can add the record group number and or the collection identifier, which in a future version, this is a request we got from researchers that we have implemented for the future version. We had researchers tell us that they wanted the record group number at the top because that's one of the first things they want to limit to is a record group. So we, in a future version, are pushing the record group field up to the top, so that's very apparent for people to use. You can also search on the creator, so this is either the person or the organization that created the records. And you can also search on a description identifier. So if some of you are familiar with research here at the archives, we have all sorts of identifiers that apply to records, local identifiers, what we call HMS record entry numbers. We also have the old MLR numbers. So those would all be in the description identifier field. So if you're a seasoned researcher, you've been coming here for years, and you know the identifiers you're looking for, this is where description identifier is where you would enter those. So I'm going to run my search now with just those things I limited. And now I have my search results with my advanced search limitations that I put in. And you can actually see those up here at the top. So it shows me in the refinements column what I've limited. So you'll see I mentioned that I limited to the National Archives at College Park textual reference. That is over here. That's also up here at the top. So you can actually X any of those out you want. So say you're like, well, I don't really care if it's an item or a file unit, so I'll cross that one out. Now it expands my results to even more. So you can kind of tweak your results how you want from advanced search. So I'm going to jump back to advanced search really quick and show you another new field. Down here at the bottom, we have the Congress range. Now this field is specifically for the records of the Center for the Legislative Archives. You can limit it based on the begin and end Congress number. So it goes from the first Congress to the most recent Congress. And you can just pick this little white bubble and slide this where you want it. There's a bubble on each end. Or you can type it in manually if you know the number. So say I knew 25, it'll jump to that. And it'll also display the dates of each of those Congresses. So if you're not familiar with the Congress numbers, you could always limit it based on the dates that it displays. One thing about this field, so as I mentioned, how in a future version it'll gray out the fields that aren't relevant, this field is only available if you have all locations selected or just the Center of Legislative Archives selected. So if you remove that and you actually just select Dwight D. Eisenhower Library, you'll notice now that this is gray and I can't do this anymore because it doesn't apply to those records. So in the future version, it's going to be a much more dynamic thing where fields will automatically gray out if they're not relevant, so you don't have to worry about entering something in the wrong field. So that's kind of it for advanced search. I'm going to field questions after this, and I'm sure there'll be some questions about advanced search. But basically, these are all the things you can enter in advanced search. If you have any questions or trouble with advanced search, finding what you need, please never hesitate to contact us, and I'm going to provide contact information at the end of this. So before I open up to questions, I actually want to show the new API that I mentioned before. So API, like I mentioned, is for advanced users. I'm not even an expert at API by any means, even though I'm the catalog guy. But it'll bring you to our GitHub page. So if you click on that, if you're not familiar with GitHub, it's a developer space, basically, where people can comment or help improve on or share software or other codes. So on here is a read up on using the API and kind of what is the API. So if you're more interested in the API and using it, feel free to come to this webpage and read up on it. But I'm just going to kind of show you what the API is for people who have no idea. So there's the URL path to access our API directly. If you were to click on that, it looks like this. And this is JSON code. So this probably makes no sense to most users. But if it was a computer communicating directly with this system, then it could actually read that. It's a machine readable versus human readable. But if you want to interact with our API in a user-friendly way, you can click on the interactive API sandbox right here. And that brings you to our sandbox. So here, I'm just going to briefly show you. You can create a user account on the API. You can log in on the API. You can search on the API. You can do bulk exports. You can make contributions, so tags and transcriptions. You can also do bulk imports of those, and you can also search on username. So if you want to search for a particular user's contributions, you can just enter that username and limit it. So I'm just going to show you a basic API search. So with the sandbox, I'm going to do the same search I've been doing for Truman in the query. And the only other thing I have to do, because you don't have to enter all of these fields, is select the format that you want the data, the information in. So from our API, you can get JSON, XML, CSV, or PDF. So I'm going to do XML, and I just kind of want to show you how this works. So when you do the query on the API and you hit submit, you basically get all this data. So like I mentioned, this is for advanced users, but if you are an advanced user, you can use the data from the API and really manipulate it in powerful ways. Because of all the tags and the hierarchies built into the data, you can actually restructure this in your own custom way, or you can cut out what you don't want, or actually just cut out what you do want. It makes the data much more manipulable and open, and there's also fields that aren't displayed on the UI side, the user interface side, that you can see on the API. So for example, you can see when a description was created at the National Archives. For example, this digital object was created on June 1st, 2015, whereas the UI side won't tell you that. It'll just be in there or it won't be in there. But here you can get a lot more information. So you can basically search all new objects added since a date, for example. That's one way you can search the API. So I'm not going to get any more into the API. At some point in the future, we may have a demo of the API if anyone's interested. But at this point, I'm actually going to open it up to questions. So does anybody in the audience have any questions about any of the things I've covered so far? I've gone over basic search, the new layout, the tabs. I actually did some contributions, and I did advanced search and API. So does anybody have any questions? Yes. Could you please go to the microphone? Thank you.
Maybe I missed this, but can you go over how you establish your username?
Oh, yes. Thank you for bringing that up. I should have gone more into this. So I'm going to log out. So if you don't have a username, actually here, hold on one second. If you don't have a username, if you hit this login button right here, you'll come here, and if you're not registered already, there's a link down here at the bottom for not registered. If you click on that, all you need to have is a username. You have to enter your full name. We're not going to verify whether it's true or not. And you can also choose whether or not you want the full name displayed. And then just an email address and a password. That's all it takes. In the future, we're actually going to allow, theoretically, third-party logins. So in a future version, we may allow you to log in with your Facebook account or your Google account. But at the moment, you have to create one through us. All NARA users, so if we have NARA staff users create accounts, their full name will be public. So they can't exclude their full name if they're a NARA staff user, because we want to be as transparent as possible. So. Thanks for that question. I should have pointed that out earlier. Are there any other questions in the audience? Yeah.
Thank you so much, Jason. We have a question from online from
Okay.
Fred Voss. He asks, with the tabs, can I select all items except images?
You mean like all digitally available records except for photographs, I'm going to assume? Yeah, you can kind of do that. So I'm going to do the same search I've been doing, Truman. And if I go to available online, so you want to exclude basically photographs and other graphic materials. I'm sorry, you have to do that through the advanced search. So I'm going to go to archival descriptions to digital objects. And then if you go, type of archival materials. Basically, if you select all of them, so if I'm going to do a shift click, and I'm going to select all, and then I'm going to deselect photographs. So I've had every type except for photographs selected, and then hit search. Theoretically, this should provide me everything online except for photographs and other graphic materials such as artwork or drawings or anything like that. So hopefully that answers the question. Are there any other questions? Yeah.
As a processing archivist, I use the bulk export a lot in our other systems that we use, the description authority system, the holdings maintenance system. So I know that you already talked about the bulk export, but when it comes down to the format that you use, which one were you saying works with Excel? Because that's what
CSV.
CSV.
So
What
CSV works
does
with
it look the same? I don't know if there was a way you could show.
It does look, I can show what that would look like. It might take a little while, so hopefully.
Oh, if it's going to take a long
No,
time,
I
it's
think
no
it'll be.
big
Let's try
deal.
because we're only going to do 500 here now that I'm
Okay.
logged out. Yeah, so I'm just going to do the brief results, and I'm not going to do all the extra stuff. And I'll just select CSV.
Okay.
Hopefully this won't take too long.
Okay.
Okay, so now it is prompting me to download my CSV file. So I'm going to hit OK to
Okay.
open it.
And this will just open up into Excel, exactly.
Yeah, so
Okay.
what it does for you here, and this is where we get a lot of complaints, is it basically, because we have so many different types of search results, most people are probably just looking for one level of description, whether that be series or file units or items. But because we have so many different types of search results across the search engine, we actually have to put each type into its own column. But what it does do is it separates the fields with this little line, which is the button that lives right above the Enter key on your keyboard. So if you're familiar with Excel, you can actually separate this out. So say I'm going to cut out all this fat because all of these fields have nothing in them. And I'm just going to do the ones that I have. You can actually do what's called text to columns with a delimiter. Sorry if this is a little advanced for anybody. I'm just trying to demonstrate what's possible.
Sorry.
And if you do a delimiter, I'm going to do other, I'm going to enter that line, hit finish. So it'll actually break out all that information into their own columns. So one of the complaints is that it puts it all into one column. And we understand, and we're actually working on developing a even more customized export for within each description. But for the moment, this is kind of the only way to export.
But still,
into
this
CSV.
is great regardless. Thank
Yeah, but
you.
we're working with the reference units and with researchers on developing a better export. So thank you. Are there any other questions?
Yes, Jason, I have another basic question for you. At the beginning of your presentation, you decided to change to a different browser. So my question is are you finding that one browser works better than the other? For instance, does Internet Explorer work better than Google Chrome or Mozilla?
So in most cases, Google Chrome is actually the best browser to use for the catalog. Today, for some reason, it wasn't really working for my demonstration. I've never had a problem in Chrome on my computer, but the developers tell us that the best browser to use is Chrome. The worst browser to use for the system is Internet Explorer. That's where we've actually noticed the most errors. It's not that it won't work, you just may experience more errors, and they're actually working to improve those errors. So hopefully as we notice more of those errors and users report them to us, we'll minimize them and we'll kind of bring all browsers up to a better level. But yeah, Chrome is the best, Internet Explorer is the worst. Do you have a question, sir?
Yes, in terms of downloading images, what is the first, can you show us how, I'm sorry, I missed
Oh, yeah,
the
sure.
early part. Can you show us how to download an image, photographs, and what is the best format to input them into a PowerPoint format?
Okay, sure, yeah. So in this example, I'm going to exclude. So I guess I'll pull up this example. It's a mural. To download it, you can, when you click into it, there's this little button right here, which says download full-size image. You can also right-click on this and save the image from there. But if you hit this, it'll download the highest resolution version that we can provide you. So in this example, I'm downloading it. Okay, well, this is not the best example. But basically from there, so in this example, it downloaded a GIF image. And then once that's on your computer, you can basically just drag that onto your PowerPoint presentation or insert a picture from file, I guess is what it says on Microsoft, I believe. And so once you've downloaded it, you can just treat it like any other image that you would and just put it right on your PowerPoint presentation.
I guess my question is, which is the best image to download in terms of when you get three different
Could you ask on the microphone, please? I'm sorry. We have a lot of users online. Thank you.
In terms of, it sometimes gives you three different sizes that you can download, and I'm trying to figure out which is the best in terms of inputting it into a PowerPoint. And that's
well-
the difficulty, because if I can cut it, sometimes it cuts to make it fit, or what is the most traditional or the easiest way just to say, okay, if I download the medium, is that the best in terms of the highest resolution, or go to the small and then enlarge it?
So the way our new catalog works is we actually only allow you to download basically one image of it. So there aren't, it does tile it within the system. That's how we're able to zoom. And that's where you get the medium, small, large, and we do all different variations. But when you actually download it, you're really just downloading one image. And we're providing basically the highest resolution version that we can provide you at the moment. So there are some images that don't have their highest version available, but that is a future improvement that we're making. But yeah, there's just the one image, so it shouldn't be an issue. On that same note, really quickly, when you're in the contributions workspace, you can also download the image with the same button right there. So with this little download full-size image button. So thanks. Any other questions?
Yes, Jason, I have a question following on to your last question about downloading an image. With anything that you download from the online catalog, I think it's important to have a citation so that others can duplicate your research. Even you might want to go back and find that image or that document. What do you recommend that how should we cite that download?
Okay, that's a really good question, and a question that I actually get quite a bit. So the National Archives doesn't endorse one specific citation format, because there's a bunch of different formats out there. But we do have a document, and I'm going to show you where to find this. So if you go to archives.gov, we have a whole document on citation. So if you type in, I'm just going to type in citation. Oops. Right here, okay. Citing records in the National Archives of the United States. It's General Information Leaflet number 17, which you can download as a PDF. And this document, which is on archives.gov, basically gives you some recommended formats for citations. So we actually provide multiple formats in here, but this is what we recommend. It's not right. Some people prefer Chicago style or MLA or APA format, but this is, well, it's not showing, but you can find this document on our website, and that provides our recommended citation format. So, and we do encourage citation because citation helps other people find related records. So if they've read your book or your document or your blog, they can find the document the same way that you found it from there. So, thanks for that. Any other questions? All right, well, I thank you guys so much for coming today. If you guys have any further questions or you have any issues that you experience using the catalog, because they're out there, trust me, email us. You can either email me directly at jason.klingerman@nara.gov, or you can email, we have catalog@nara.gov is the contact for any catalog related issues. So any question you have about the catalog or any error you experience, just do not hesitate to contact us at catalog@nara.gov. All of your emails help us with future development when you make suggestions, or help us with defects when you notice errors, and questions help us find you what you're looking for, and help us conceive some of the ways that people are looking for records that we may not have been aware of. So, thanks.
Thank you so much, Jason. That was very helpful. Thank you so much for providing this presentation for us today. For those of you who have attended here on site, we have an evaluation, and if you don't mind taking a few seconds to fill that out and leaving it for me at the back table. For those of you online, we also welcome your comments. Feel free to use the chat feature to leave your comments and suggestions there. Again, Jason mentioned that you can leave suggestions about the catalog at catalog@nara.gov.
Yes, and I apologize. I should have put that on the slide here, but
So, thank you so much,
thanks,
and we look
everybody.
forward to seeing new developments with the catalog.
thanks. Thanks, everybody.